we're Brain Ape. My name's Minky. He's Soul. I currently play the character of Eric Tungleson in our new material, and I am the vocalist and guitar player in the band. Eric moves towards the eye.
I'm Soul. I play the character Win in our latest singles.
I wish our band name were that clever. No, we are named after a Nirvana song because we were those kids on the music scene in London who really wanted to be Kurt Cobain. So we were named after the song Very Ape, and I was sitting on the bog in January of 2012 and I thought that Brain Ape sounded more appropriate to us than Very Ape. Well, the idea behind Brain Ape was the duality of man, in the brain being the supposedly intelligent and the ape being the instinctual and far more sort of primal.
The id superego style of thinking.
And especially the music that we were playing at the time was very sort of guttural punk rock. So we liked the with some thought put into the melodies and the music. So it was playing off the two facets of the human psyche. But really, we just wanted to be Nirvana.
Oh yeah, obviously. Doesn't everybody want to be Nirvana? The worst thing you can do as an artist is stay stagnant, and change is just a part of life. Your audience might not think it is the right direction, but if it's an organic, relatively natural part of your growth, change is good. Like, you should change. Being in the same place for 4 albums is just, it's just not interesting.
Certainly when you've been in a band like we have for 11 years now, and when we were writing our first record and our second record, we were kids. So playing and re-recording and rewriting coming-of-age stories when we're no longer coming of age seemed a bit disingenuous. And I think the sound has evolved with the subject matter. I think the focus has changed. We used to be frustrated at our own character. As I say, the first 2 albums are coming-of-age stories, and most sane people aren't satisfied with themselves as they're coming of age. So it was very sort of inward-looking and frustration at that aspect of the world that we were living in. And now, being boring old men, we are now just shouting at clouds.
We're not fighting our own character, although there might still be some of that. We are fighting a narrative. That's at least how I like to think of it.
Yeah, trying to be, with the first 2 records we were trying to be better people, and now we're trying to fight for a better world for everybody to live in, I think, in trying to be the change that you want to see out there. So politically, as you say, very much so. And just having a lens on history that hopefully we can learn from. Certainly, had you asked us that 5 years ago, I would have been able to pick one track. But now that the band's been going on for so long and we've made such different music over the years, it's very difficult to pick one tune that does sort of bridge that gap over, especially as our last record came out 5 years ago. So
6.
Was it 6 years?
2017.
I can't count. So, I mean, it'd be easier if you asked me a track per record. Because I think, for example, Rig It for our first record.
Fair.
It's what's difficult about that question is having toured this material for quite a while, and therefore we are now our opinions of the tracks have been influenced by which singles people prefer. So, for example, Rig It probably isn't actually the best representation, because it's just loud. So it's probably not the best representation of our first record, but it's the tune that everybody loved live. So then it now sticks into my mind as that represents the Dara O phase of the band, but that's not strictly true. I mean, if you look at Inked or Lindsay, we had very soft
They hit
bits.
the same notes. Lindsay and Graphomania, they might be years apart, different albums, but they hit the same notes.
A tune like Meanwhile actually better represents our first record. And then, as you say, something like a Graphomania probably represents Auslander, especially the narrative throughout.
And then he fell to earth.
I would not want to tell you what I thought the song was about for fear of cheapening what you've got out of it, because what you've got out of it is fantastic. And,
Yeah, that's our general policy. Like we can explain what our thinking might have been behind a song, but that's less important than what the audience reads into a song. So,
and if anything, you just taught me something about material that we wrote 10 years ago, which is just a fantastic... No, it is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's why art is so powerful. And being able to recontextualise old material like that is it's why music becomes timeless. So,
yep.
But should it have been a double album?
Momentous occasion. We're scratching out the first thing we've done. Where is it? There you go. Oh, get it on camera, you It's done. Now we only have like 800 more to go. That is us done. Was that a long day, Ryan? 12 hours of tracking guitars non-stop? Yeah, it was 12 hours. But I must say, oh god, that's damn!
The electric version of the record and then the acoustic version of the record are very different, not only sonically, but of how we approached it. The electric version was about 9 months worth of work, slaving over it, and really sort of getting down to nitty-gritty detail. And the acoustic version was very spontaneous in its recording, very organic. So again, kind of like with the name of the band, the Brain and the Ape, whereas our Slander, the electric version, was the Brain, the Ape came acoustically, which was also a nice reversal of those roles, I think, because normally I would have considered something a bit more delicate to be the Brain, but it turned out that the Ape was delicate. We do really like reinterpreting our own material, so there's plans in the future to do something similar, but I shan't give too much away. I love that you've picked up on the death of Queen Victoria. That's an important one.
Oh yeah,
and
for
will
sure.
be moving forward with new material.
Yep.
There are obviously important dates, which you've got right, and those clues will lead to a bigger answer, if that makes any sense. Sol and I come from various other disciplines as well, so we're big lovers of film, novels, video games, extended universes, sort of, legacy pieces that hold a lot of water because of how in depth any given writer is, the amount of time they've given to fill out those worlds with enough detail that the reader or the listener gets that satisfaction out of putting puzzle pieces together. So we've spent the last few years doing just that, world building in one way or another. And whilst we think the tunes can just be listened to on a surface level, if anybody wants to read into lyrics and musical motifs and the keys of various sections in songs,
There are layers there, aren't there?
yeah, if you want to dive into it, then there's plenty of stuff to sink your teeth into there. We very much wanted not to have the character be superfluous, so his character is full of meaning in its essence.
The clues you've been grabbing onto, the themes you've been nailing us with, they're very real and they're there. They're very much a conscious decision on our part. And Eric, it is a story. Eric is our protagonist.
Fenchurch King was an introduction for the character of Eric, and Drawing Room gives you more of an idea of his entire character, and maybe parts of his character that are less flattering to his legacy, and therefore reading into some of those lyrics might give you a better, more well-rounded view on the character. And 10 Downing Street is obviously very important for contextualising the political nature
Of what we're writing, yeah, for sure. That's the flip, isn't it? One story?
is it the flip?
Yeah, well, it's 100% the flip. The flip that was not recorded on camera whatsoever, that only the people at that Camden Rock show will ever talk about, and only they know, but has been told back to us in countless occasions. That everybody references the flip. The flip is... It was an incredible moment where somebody could have died, and he could have died.
I decided to end the set by doing some sort of soul for some reason.
And me seeing him off the centre stage look at me, give me a look, and then charge at me. All I could do was take my bass, use it as some sort of defensive shield, put it down, and then he jumps on the bass and flips over my shoulder. It was... it could have ended badly.
Yeah, I survived it. If we were to, rather than work with somebody and collaborate, then to mix a song for a pre-existing artist, I would love to get my hands on Anna Cantorite.
Oh yeah,
because how to mix his vocals, the rhythm section there is always phenomenal. But they've always been incredibly influential to our project. So to see what our interpretation of their process would do to their process would be cracking. They're quite an acoustic project anyway, so to add some Brain Ape fuzz to what they do and try and complement his vocal texture. That, or again, if we're thinking thematically, then someone like Donald Glover, he layers so much in what he does. Would love to see that process as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because he comes from a multidisciplinary background, just as we do. Which Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, like his music, I think it just resonates with us. He'd be another one that I'd love to collaborate with. And that's a far-flung dream.
It is. Who knows?
Who knows?
One day, maybe.
Activation, all persuasion, change your mind's fun. Activation, aptitude, numb. Sterilize